Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Maintenance Monday live stream, number 26, which means that's 6 months in a row that I've kept this up with the regular schedule. Started out just to keep the algorithm happy on YouTube, and so we'll just keep it going with helpful tips and information on managing your Joomla site. So if you're there watching the live stream, hi John, I see you there already. If you're there watching the live stream, leave a comment and like this video so others can find it, know that it's live. And if you're watching the recording of this and you haven't subscribed, why not subscribe? And don't forget to ring the bell so you get notifications of new live streams and new tutorials when I start making them again. I know I keep saying that they're coming soon, but I really want to make more. And I have plenty of ideas lined up. The idea for today's Maintenance Monday live stream came actually around the middle of the day when I was catching up on Facebook. I was in the Joomla Facebook group and I saw a post from John Barber, who was talking about his experience of trying to restore an Akiba backup of his Joomla site that had the password in the database had some special characters in it. Now, if you've ever been setting up your Joomla website or installing it at certain stages using different methods, you might get a warning that if you use special characters in the password for the database when you're creating it or setting it up, that you could have problems in some systems. I forget exactly what the message is, but I've actually thought, okay, well, that's nice to know, but I've never had any problems with it. But then I read about John's experience in the Facebook group when he was sharing that, and I thought, oh, okay, I should probably stop using special characters in the password for the database. So I thought that'd be a great topic for today's Maintenance Monday live stream. So without further ado, let's head on over to the screen. If I find, the glasses off too soon. If I find the right screen to switch to, and there we go. So first of all, talking about the Facebook group on the Joomla group on Facebook. It really is a great place to get tips and to meet other people and to get helpful information like I did today. So shout out to John Barber, who actually only lives, as the crow flies, maybe 300 miles away from me, from Victoria, BC to Summerland there in the interior. It's a beautiful place in the summertime. But I think, John, you probably have snow there right now, but we don't. Anyway, so if you want to find that group, go on Facebook and search for it by the title there, Joomla No Spam. You could go to facebook.com/groups/Joomla No Spam and then apply to join, and I'm sure you will be accepted quickly. It's a great place to belong. So thanks, John, for the idea today. Something that John did on his Facebook page is he's got links to all of his web pages, so I could find them very easily. So you might want to check them out. There's some good looking pages there. There is travelmap.guide, G-Y-D-E. So that's the first site I've ever seen that's using that TLC, the .guide. So you could head on over there. I think John is probably a photographer because here's linkagephoto.com. And so that's a really nice looking site there. You could check out some of his work. And I think John also recently quit smoking about 2.5 years ago. Judging from this web page, it's a journey about it's a fewmillionsteps.com, a journey about stopping smoking. So, anyways, there you go. Check those out, and thanks again, John. All right, I guess I might as well plug one of my pages just as a reminder. On the basicjoomla.com/giveaways, every month we have the giveaway, prizes giveaway, 1 year membership to myjoomla.com to manage one site, or a 1 month membership to myjoomla.com, and then you can manage as many sites as you want. And if you already have an existing account with myjoomla.com, then Phil has generously agreed to just tag on those subscriptions to the end of whichever one you've got. And remember, on regularlabs.com, a free 1 year pro subscription to any of Peter Van Westen's extensions there on his site. So go to basicjoomla.com and go to giveaways, and you'll see where you can enter. All right, so let's talk about changing your password on an existing Joomla site. So don't use special characters. And by special characters, we're talking about, here, let me just bring up a keyboard here. We're talking about stuff, here's some examples I'm going to talk about in a second. But we're talking about basically all that stuff that's the shift numbers. So you got your shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's even throwing plus and minus. Just don't use stuff like that in the password for your database, because it's probably especially there's some probably other funky stuff that you could throw in, but some of these create problems in the restore process with the key, and you never know when that's going to create problems in other places as well. So stick with your numbers, your letters, capital and smaller, lowercase letters, I guess there's what they're called, and just stick to those for your password. So that's easy to do when you're creating your site. But if you've already got it set up, here's a quick way that you could make changes to your password to avoid as little downtime as possible for your site. So the first thing I would say to do is go to your cPanel, or maybe use Plus, go to your web hosting control panel and go to your file manager first. All right. You would click on, in this case in the cPanel, you would click on File Manager. I've already done it. Go to the folder that your website is, your Joomla site is installed in. So I put one in especially for today in a folder called Hack Me. I'm not inviting people to hack me, but I wanted something that I could just type passwords in and then just immediately delete this file or this site right after. So I haven't broadcast all the passwords for another site that I use. So find the folder that your Joomla is installed in, right click on configuration.php, go to edit, and then you're going to wait for that to open up. By the way, I discovered I probably need to reboot my computer just before I went live, but I had all these tabs set up, so things will be a little bit slow because something is going on with my computer today, as you can see. All right, here it comes to edit the file. Head on down to the line that has password, public. It's a public $ password. That's where you put the password for your database. Now, let me just bring up that example again that I had before. Currently, I have set this password, 1234 exclamation mark number at whatever that is, the up chevron, 5678 Joomla. And so, of course, the offending characters in there that we want to get rid of are those special characters there. Of note, when I set up this site, the original password, because I used Installatron to make a quick dump, a quick install of Joomla, this was the password that was given. And notice it's got at and number and at and yeah, again, whatever that thing is. Basically, it used special characters. So if you're using Installatron or Softaculous or Fantastical, pay attention to the password that's getting set up and make sure that it doesn't have special characters in it. Change it so that you can. You remember in a previous Maintenance Monday, I talked about how not to update your website, a Joomla install with Installatron or Softaculous. So check out that as well. It's another thing to be mindful of. Those are great, quick ways to install a Joomla site to get it going, but now here's another thing to watch out for with them, just to be specially aware. All right, so here's the password here, 1234 exclamation mark blah 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 blah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out those characters in that password, and I'm also going to I'm going to put in some capitals, some extra characters. Just in this case, because on my server I have it set so that passwords have to score a certain high percentage for security. So taking out those special characters, having some numbers, having some capitals, it should score high enough. And the reason that I want to do that here is one of the things that I notice, maybe this would be called pro tip, not that I'm a pro, but is that, I change a password and then I have it in my mind what it is. I go and enter it somewhere else. I somehow have typed it wrong. There's asterisks showing. It's just painful. So, and then you gotta go back. So what I'm going to suggest you do here is, first of all, type your new password for your database there in the configuration file. Copy it. Now don't save this yet, because if you save this, it's going to break your site. It's going to go offline. We want to change both files. We want to change the password in both places at the same time. To do that, next, leaving this tab open, let's go back to Control Panel to control panel, and you want to go to your databases area. Go to view your MySQL databases, and you would click there. Now I already have that open, and as we scroll down through the name of all the databases and different things I have, these are all different sample sites for tutorials I have here, you would go down to the current users. So here's the current user, hack me, and then you would just click on change password. And here's where having it already changed in the configuration file is going to save you a lot of time, because you've selected it, you've copied it, and now instead of trying to remember what it is, you can just paste it in. And it scores 96. And now I'm also going to avoid the hassle of having to type it in exactly the same way again. Paste it, and we're all good. We're ready to go. So now all that we have to do is change the password on the database, change the password on the configuration file, and because we have them both open in these tabs, it should happen very quickly. So let's change it on the database. Let's go over to the configuration file. Let's save it there. And now we can go and view the page, which I will be deleting after this tutorial. We refresh, and I cross my fingers that I've done it all right. The hamsters in my computer are running, and it works. And now I've changed the password of the database to something that's still very secure, but does not have special characters in it. And then later on, it's not going to suddenly surprise you. Because what happened to John was he was restoring an Akiba backup. And if you ever, look, if you're restoring an Akiba backup, you know for sure that that's a time when you don't need any more headaches. Because for whatever reason you're restoring, you're trying to get something done. And anyways, he was restoring, and because of the special characters in the database password, he was locked out of the restore, and he had to manually do it, which there is a way to do, but it's not as easy as the one-click restore that he was hoping for. So don't use special characters in the passwords for the database for your Joomla site. And if you have, like I have, I got a bunch to change now, then here's a really easy method in order to do that and avoid a hassle down the way. So before we head on to chat to see if anyone in chat has anything else to say, I want to thank you for your support of this channel. And let me just switch right to the proper screen here. There we go. I want to thank you for your support of this channel. We're up to 809 subscribers. Thanks, John, for subscribing today. And the channel is growing, and there's much more that I want it to be, but it's enjoyable. Of course, it would be silly to have a channel if nobody was watching and nobody was tuning in. So thanks for your support of this channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Ring that bell so you get notifications, and why not leave a comment below if you have any ideas for tutorials or suggestions, or any comments about what we've just looked at in this Maintenance Monday. By all means, leave them. So before I head over to chat with anybody that wants to chat, as always, thank you. Enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless. Alrighty. Anybody there? Anybody still there? We shall see. Oh, thanks, John. So, how long have you lived in? Well, you probably don't want to be typing all this information. Someone will assume your identity. But you are a photographer in Summerland, right? Am I right about that website? And you just got back from Hawaii. I can say that because I saw that on your profile. How long you been doing sites with Joomla? Ten years. Nice. Nice. I've been here in Victoria for since '96, so that's coming up on, that'll be 22 years this year. And I used to use, I've been using I was using Mambo before it became Joomla, or before it forked and became Joomla. So that's good. Yeah, and I like your sites. Just looking at them here on the other screen here, they look really good. Oh, look at that! I right-click to view the source, and it says all images copyrighted. I must have viewed the source somewhere on that, though, right? Okay, no. I'll look at a different one here. Do you use what do you use for your templates? Are you using a using something like Rocket Theme, or you're using Joomla Shine, JSN Shine? Is that Joomla Shine? Yes. Using Joomla Shine, and you're using JCE, because you have JCE Media Box. You got reCAPTCHA set up. Nice. And so the travel map.guide, that you've got that set up for Summerland. Do you have any plans to that's a pretty broad domain name. Do you have plans to expand that to something else, or is that just for is that a project you just did for locally, or? Yeah, Control U did work, by the way. Okay, cool. Open to photographers anywhere. So you would so you probably thinking about a hub or something like that, that people could start doing things for their own area. Oh, sorry, I just looked at the front page. You got maps for all over. So you got map. Oh, okay, I see where you're going with these. You got maps, British Columbia, Summerland. Nice. Subdomain is Summerland. So if I go maps and then go to Summerland, okay. Are you using a different Joomla install for each subdomain then? One of the things they've talked about for years is to be able to come out to have multiple sites running off the same install. And that would be really nice in a case like this, because then you could go with just the travelmap.guide/Summerland, which I think probably works with the subdomain anyways. Does it not? Yeah, it does work. But then you still you have it's just a different site, and it would be really nice to. I know there's I did look at, there's a system that does make the does allow you to have multiple domains using the same Joomla site, but I looked at it and it was more complicated than I wanted to get into to know how to do it at that time. And I know that stuff is coming along that will do that, or they talk about it. So that would be a really cool feature. But yeah, this is really nice. I mean, not surprising since you're a photographer that you've got great graphics on there, like the wineries, and that's cool. What's the is there an extension that you're using? That is this like a directory extension or something that you've got happening in there? Yeah, each location, yeah, so that if you click on it. So that's good. Very fast, too. Yeah, this must... or this one big Google map that you've done? I see the Google map guy there, because as I uncheck the options... Oh, the mapping soon. Okay, you're changing soon. Yeah, that's the drag, eh? Sometimes with the was that a paid extension? That they're the programmer or developers dropping it. It was paid, eh? Yeah. I guess I always view the paid extensions as safer than other extensions, but because you're less likely to walk away from something that's paid. Although there was a big one recently that announced that they were closing down. So I mean, that's basically, that's the deal, eh? I guess that happens for us to take advantage of the awesome features of open source and even the great price of some of the extensions that work with them. Then it can be that's the trade-off of being super rich and paying someone just to make something. I'm not super rich, so of course I like the open source thing, and a lot of work for a developer with small return. Yeah, and I can see that. You got to just it's like comment about the time. Hey, Bricks or Wheels. What's the regular time? What's the usual time? I guess what it's been falling into for the regular time for the live stream is I try to do them. I think I try to get them going for about 3 o'clock or 3:30 here on the West Coast. So you're in the Peg. John here is in British Columbia. So John Bricks for Wheels is in Winnipeg. So that's 2 hours behind, right? So that would be 5:30 your time. But I was late today because of when you watched the replay of this, John mentioned in the Joomla group on Facebook today something about special characters and passwords for Joomla databases. Not to do that, which I had seen warnings of. So I kind of retooled to do this quickly on the fly, and so I was later. If I was the person that I would like to be, although I like myself as a person for the most part, I would be a morning person, and I would be up and have something happening for everyone in Europe, because by the time I do this, it's already Tuesday there. But that's another reason I'm excited that John is from Summerland, because he's in the same time zone. So usually Bricks or Wheels, usually Corey, usually about sometime Monday afternoon. I have such terrible web hours as well. John, you're getting just back to what you mentioned there. A lot of work for developers, small return. Yeah, you've got to, if you're making a living off of Joomla, you got to run it like a business. And certainly since I've been full-time at it since the end of October, really coming into my own, just juggling use of time and focus on projects and what I want to be doing and what's important, and then also the tyranny of working on what's not tyranny, but what the urgency of working on what's paying, so I can still play and try other things, try to get other things going in the future. So yeah, what John, do you already have an idea of what extension you're going to go to replace that feature? And I guess the other thing is, they've got these people paying to be on this map. Is that happening for you? Hotspots Pro. Hotspots Pro. Let's see what that looks like. Hotspots Pro Joomla. CompoJoom. I never heard of them before. The better Google Maps for Joomla. Hajo, how you doing, man? Good morning in Germany. Am I right? Is it Germany you're in? Or yeah, I think it's Germany, is it not? Is it Germany, or else I've really offended you because I know it's close to there. Hotspots Pro, street maps, map directions, visitor maps. Cool. Who can use hotspots? Everyone, endless possibilities. Hey, Kevin. So, Kevin, you use Hotspots Pro. You use hotspots as well? Okay, Hajo, I thought that you were there. Hey, and if you guys notice, I'm using the different method for the live stream, so it's actually more real-time chat here. There's not the 30-second delay, so that's cool. Although the method I'm using does not have DVR, which means that you can't back up to the beginning and see what we already talked about. But but you can watch it on the replay, so that's the trade-off for that. So Kevin, you've been using it for about 2 years. John is just we were just chatting that he's moving to it because of his site, which I'll show you here. Summerland, well, travelmap.guide, but if you go to summerland.travelmap.guide, he's got this happening here. Okay, also the local photographer gets exposure, income from listings. Okay. So you are the local photographer for Summerland, and so you hopefully are getting income from the listings, or else you're doing it free to attract everyone to franchise. So that's cool. Kevin, what's your site? Do you want to post it in chat? You can't type it, the URL, it'll get blocked, but if you put the name and then just type dot and then whatever that is, then we can check out where you're using Hotspots Pro. It's highly reviewed. It's got hundreds all around, so that's cool. Oh, you're rebuilding the site. Okay. Yeah, we've all been there. I can't show you the site. I got sites I'm embarrassed to show people. I mean, for the guy that has the YouTube channel on how to do Joomla, I'm the mechanic who's driving around the beater in many cases. But yeah, exactly, John. Who isn't? All right. Well, that's cool. That's good. That's neat to know that extension is there. And especially to see that see it working on your site, because then what's the let's see what their price is. Because then it's just one more idea when I'm talking to someone of what they could do on their site. Yeah, Kevin, I've never heard of them before, so I'm going to just try to go to their webpage here, developer company. So I guess we go to download. That'll take us to, there's their site there. What other extensions do they have? The all-in-one event manager for Joomla. Cool. Hotspots. Comments. Drag and drop form builder. Migrate WordPress and Drupal sites to Joomla. Death to WordPress. No, just kidding. There's some wonderful people doing WordPress and making wonderful sites. Developer bundle, get them all. So what's the developer bundle cost? 199 euros. And so then Hotspots is 49 euros. Yeah. Cool. I mean, yeah, if it's working, great. And, that's the other thing that I think, too, is, and I learned this the hard, I think I learned this the hard, well, I learned this the hard way working on sites for people. And that was, let me just transition back here to our chat window here. And that was, I was helping people build commercial sites for their businesses. And I like helping people with websites. So that's, I think that's a good thing. But I think I get more personally out of it than sometimes I acknowledge. So I help some people and sites that are going to make money for a business, or where people are booking rooms for something, or they're setting up a shopping cart. They want to make income from them. They're complex. They take a lot of time. So I thought, well, I'm going to really help this person. I'll do them a solid. I won't charge them very much, or I'll put a lot of effort in, and which is great, except they ended up not valuing the work that had gone into it. And then sometimes what would happen is they'd say, oh, you know what? We're going to go in a totally different direction. And so then all of a sudden, all this free work that I put in to help them with their business so that they could succeed was just thrown out the window, and nobody was succeeding. So I don't mind paying a good price for an extension if it's really, really good and it's going to help me make money on a site, or it's going to help a client make money on a site. But that's interesting. So that's cool. I've never heard of Joom. Excellent. Yes, and support. Support's a big one too. Yeah, it's nice to know that you can get good support. I'm working on a project right now using, I'll give Community Builder a shout out, because I actually got confused. I had a membership with Community Builder, then I bought Subscriptions Pro, or their subscriptions extension. And then I no sooner bought it than I got a renewal notice for my membership. And long story short, I thought it was included. I was confused. I finally sorted out that I was the one confused. I said to them, "Hey, everybody," in the support thread, I said, "Hey, everybody, I realize I'm the one that's confused. Everything is good." And then they turned around and said, "Well, oh, that's good. We talked about it as a team, and we're going to give you just a full membership for a year to everything." So I was like, totally, like I admitted that I was that I was wrong. I was totally fine and happy, and they did me a solid on that. So what comes from that is not only a loyal customer, but shout outs and people sharing that with other people. So that's nice to get good support. And if you're paying, you're John's got to go to dinner and the barbecue in the snow. Yeah, great connecting with you. And you want to see something on Firefox developer usage. Okay, I haven't done anything on Firefox developer usage, but I have shown just a little bit of using developer in Chrome. But I could do some stuff. What exactly would you be looking for in Firefox developer usage? Or you could always shoot me a message on Facebook too, because I don't want to keep you from your dinner on the barbecue in the snow. I fired up my barbecue yesterday just so that the next time I want to barbecue, I don't have all the winter first burn happening in there. Back just finishing comment about support as well is that if you're paying for an extension, then you're actually going, if the person's making an income on it, then their time is freed up to give support. Whereas what can happen is when you're doing something for free, and I totally get, I appreciate the stuff that people are doing for free. And there's some that are very good at their support or are set up very well so that you can find the support easily. But you got to make a living. You got to keep going. And so I'd like to get in a place where I could give some PayPal tips to people who have been really, really helpful with their free extensions. Okay, I'll take a look at it and play around with it. John, and see. And also on the channel, I do have, you don't use Rocket Theme, you use Joomla Shine, but if you look up videos I have on how to change the navigation bar in a gantry file, I think it's hydrogen template. But you look for the Rocket. I have a playlist of Rocket Theme tutorials, and there's a couple in there that I use Chrome Developer on. And so that might whet your appetite for things. But I'll keep that in mind. In fact, I'm going to just write myself a little note right here for Firefox developer stuff in Joomla. Because that's... All right, so you have a great supper in the snow. All right, John, we'll just write that note. Great. So Corey is, I hear that Rick is keeping you busy. Yeah, Kevin, Firebug. I've used Firebug before. I know it's there. I just, I forget why I stopped using Firefox months ago. Well, no, a couple of years ago. I think it had a memory leak or it was really jamming me somehow. Oh, okay. So I didn't know that they had changed that, that it's no longer supported. So if they're not supporting it, does Firefox have something else that they're using? No, they don't, eh? Huh. That seems weird. Firefox is different from the good old days when it was the rebellious second browser that was out there. So Kevin, you're saying that that developer is built into Firefox. They did their own thing. Yes, Vinny, I'm still alive. No, I'm still alive. Yes, I am. I was super late today, Vinny, and so, but as if you watch the replay, you'll know that was chatting with John, a fellow lives about 300 miles away from me. I did fix the delay. So in YouTube, there are some different options for streaming. So you can basically, there's a section where you can go and you can schedule multiple events and set times and set things up. But I have yet to figure out how to make that section stream quickly or for there not to be a delay. There's another section in YouTube for just live streaming, and you can go live right away. And there's 3 different latencies that you can pick. So I picked the one with the least latency, so it's very fast, real time. The drawback is anybody joining right now, I can't use the DVR function, which means you can't go back to the beginning of the chat to catch up on what's being talked on. But of course, you'll be able to watch that later. At least I don't think you can. If you guys want to try to do it, that would be fine. But you just kind of come into the chat where it's at, and then you have to watch and catch up later on. So yeah, so we got a good crowd in here. We got Vinny, we have Kevin. Kevin, where are you from? Because I think this is is this the first? I'm sorry if I don't remember the other time that we've chatted live, but I think this is the first time we've caught you live, right, Kevin? Bend, oh, down in Oregon. Okay, cool. So I'm up here in Victoria on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Oh, it's the 3rd time. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry for messing that up, but for not remembering. I'm actually getting a little more relaxed on these live streams. It's funny because I know I've spoken to a lot of people. Like I've speak to crowds, so I'm comfortable with that. But when I get the live stream going, it's like I start to kind of get a little bit tense. And then, but I'm getting more comfortable. I think I'm mostly tense with the technology working. For instance, I start OBS today. It's Open Broadcast Studio, I think it's called. Open Broadcast something Studio. And for like 3 weeks in a row, it said there's an update for the software. And I was like, oh, I should update it. No, don't update it half an hour before you go live. Okay. So you're down in Bend, Oregon. Let me look where that is. Because Mary from Webby Design, who's not on today because I think this is probably later than the schedule fits for her. She's up in she's in Washington State, so she's between us. Bend, Oregon. Oh, okay. So you're almost middle. 1/3 of the way over from the ocean, east of Eugene. Although there's not a straight road as there is. So are you right in the mountains, or are you on a plateau, on a plain in between the mountains? Browsers. Let me change glasses so I can read Corey. Speaking of browsers, what's my favorite? Okay. So I've been using Chrome. Oh, you're in high desert. Alrighty. Probably similar to what to Kamloops up here in British Columbia. Although being so much farther north, you probably don't have the same winters. Okay, so yeah, Vinny, you stopped using Firefox because it was slowing your computer down. That's why I stopped using it years ago. So I've been using Chrome, Corey, because I just find it light on my computer, and especially. But I've not used. I was using Firefox the other day because I have a program. I have a site. I need it to log in as another person, so I needed to be logged in the front end, the back end, and then logged in also as another person in the site. So I go to Firefox when I need something else. Although I was actually in Microsoft Edge the other day because I had to make sure something was working for a client, and so I forget to check things in all the different browsers as part of the step of working for things. Yeah, and Vinny, I remember you said you used Vivaldi. And I actually did find that note about a week and a half ago and went and looked it up. But I did not download and install it to try it yet. Yeah, I don't mind. I wouldn't. Edge, yeah, Edge is. I was just going to say. Well, yeah, there, Vin, you're taking the words out of my. That's the downside of a delay, I suppose. Because I was going to say I like Edge because it's not IE, so I'm open to trying it. Like if Microsoft actually did fix it and was fast, like for instance, I go to a link and it pops up and says, Edge is 13% faster than Chrome, and I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, guys, stop looking at what I'm looking at. But then I think, well, if it is faster than Chrome, it might be worth give it a chance. It's just that, you know like when Microsoft bought Skype, I thought, oh great, Skype was working so great, and lo and behold, they switched Skype, and it's still they keep wanting me to switch to the new one or try the new one, but it's confusing. It doesn't. I just like the old Skype, and then they combined it with your live account and blah 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 this and that, and it's like, oh, I knew they're gonna just make this more complicated. On the plus side, I use Office 365, and you get 60 minutes of computer to phone Skype time every month with that. So I do like that. And I do like Windows. I like Windows 10. I like a lot of the Windows stuff. So I'm not complaining just about Microsoft, but yeah, and I guess the other maddening thing for those of us who are building websites for people is that for instance, I have a client that does training for fire departments, and some of the fire departments will only allow one browser, and it's like, oh, we have Internet Explorer 10 or 11, and everything's locked down. We can't add anything, else. So it's like, or we have, we only have Firefox, but we don't. It's so a lot of people, a lot of everyday users, people who bring their computer home and just use things and would never think of installing another browser. They're using the Microsoft stuff, so we have to be mindful of that. And like we said, Edge seems to be pretty good, better than Internet Explorer. And yes, you are dating yourself by missing Netscape Navigator. Those are the good old days, Netscape Navigator. Because if you were using Netscape Navigator, you were out there. You were sticking it to the man. You would say, oh no, you use Internet Explorer? No, I use Netscape Navigator. And you haven't heard of that one? Oh yes, it's so much better. So it was just cool, especially for people who like to be different. It was really easy to be different by using that. And of course, it was better and than Internet Explorer. I guess it was, looking back. I think probably what it, again, it lets you have custom features that you could not get in Internet Explorer. Someone had actually gone out there and programmed something for it, and it worked, and you could do things, and it would just let you do more things. And I think that's probably why we all like Joomla, because you can do stuff. You can do more things with it. Yes, I forgot about that. Best viewed with Netscape Navigator. Yeah, you would post it best viewed by this, and you would post the resolution that your site was best viewed in. Remember that too? It's like, oh, best viewed in this resolution on this browser. And now it's like, don't even try to, well, you want to be mobile friendly and you might have different views, but it's like, don't even think for a second you're going to tell someone what your site will look best on. That's not the game anymore. Okay. Cool. What were you using before, Corey? Did you go from 7 to 10, or did you do a bigger jump than that? Just going to check something here. Oh, good. You got it on the free upgrade to 10. I actually just the other day bought a Windows 10 upgrade for someone and an SSD drive to put in their laptop to speed things up for them. So, but they had not yet updated to Windows 10, and they tried it, and their hard drive locked up, and it just became simpler to buy an OEM one from Microsoft. It's interesting because it came from Microsoft. Bought it on Amazon, and it said OEM for a new computer install. So I don't know how that worked, because when I saw that, I thought, oh, did I buy this off of someone I shouldn't have? And I did buy it off of Microsoft. Yes, Vinny, yes, I have not put my SSD drive in. In fact, I said so. My big client, my best paying client, perhaps maybe on the big scale thing, my only paying client, like as far as big projects goes, I invoice them for work from the 1st to the 15th and the 16th to the end of the month. So I said to my wife about an hour and a half ago, I said, all right, on the 16th, as soon as I'm done this next little schedule and get this working and voiced off, I'm going to do the SSD in my computer. But just because I said earlier before you came on, Vinny, that I probably need to do a reboot. Something's been working pretty slow here for me this afternoon. But I had all the tabs set up for the tutorial that I was going to do, or for the live stream. So I thought, I really need to get this happening. So yeah, no, it's not in there yet, but I'm planning on it. Okay, so before you, Corey, used a mix of Windows 7 and various Linux distributions. Okay, so the fact that you used various Linux distributions tells us a little bit about you, tech-wise. Tech being a kind word for geek-wise. I took a stab at Linux a couple times, even just for the even just so I could know it, and I could say to people, "Oh yeah, I have Linux on that laptop." But it was going to be too much of a learning curve. It was going to require too much stopping what I was doing to learn it before. So I thought, even if it's cooler or better in some ways that will help me down the road, I just didn't have time to get there. So geek chuckle, yeah. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and that again, Vinny, that was years ago. So yeah, my mind, I can feel my mind sometimes now from some of the projects that I'm working on. So I don't know if I don't think I'm going to tackle Linux for a while. You know what I found, and this maybe has changed, but I mean, when I got it installed and was running it, that was no problem. But then I couldn't get connected to the internet, and so I had to figure that out. And then I couldn't figure out how to install things that I wanted on it, and so when I realized how far back in the train that I was, I thought, yeah, I don't. And the reason I remember now, the reason I did it was someone had given me a laptop, or I had a laptop that was super slow running Windows. And so therefore I thought, well, I'm going to put Linux on this and see if it is really that much faster. And then I'll still have a fast laptop to use. I abandoned that. So yeah, lack of supported software, especially paid software. Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, I think that I will probably wrap it up at that. Manjaro. Mint is good, Manjaro. Oh, it's a lot more like plug and play. Okay, well yeah. Yeah, that was probably, yeah, I think that was, yeah, that plug and play twigs my memory, because there was a modem or a wireless modem in it. And here, this will date myself. Years ago, 90, probably 95, 94, 95, trying to get on the internet faster. So instead of having an 1800 baud modem, I had somehow found a 14.4 or 19.2 internal card for a PC that I had. I literally spent a week trying to get that thing working, like all day and into the evening. I remember I remember it was that long because I just remember thinking, I wish I had a week of my life back from doing that. Yeah, the 14.4 fax modem, internal. Oh, man, that was just a nightmare. Yeah. All right, if Windows Linux doesn't find the auto driver, good luck. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you. And that wasn't just one time. I remember having a black external, and I think it was a 14.4 fax modem uh, there, and plugged in. I gotten it from someone, so I thought, well, surely this will be easier, just plugged in externally. But I can fix stuff mechanically if it breaks. So we had a VCR that fell off of the countertop in my sister and brother-in-law's motorhome. So they gave it to me. This was years ago before I could afford a VCR, and so I had it working so I could take the bottom off of it. And then when we wanted to watch something, I'd stick a screwdriver in, turn the wheel, da 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 da, and then we'd watch the movie. But man, if something broke on that thing that was electronic, then that was it. We were done. Yeah, yeah, that was a good trick too. Reformatting AOL floppy disks. Yeah, those were everywhere. At the dry cleaners and all over, just put out. Yeah, okay, so Kevin, what's a BNC network? By the way, it's about to get very noisy here at my house because we're picked up my sister-in-law's dogs from the kennel. She's flying back into town tonight, and is all right. So, oh, it's old. Oh, okay. I don't. Yeah, that's. I don't remember. My first computer was well, when I was in high school, I was on a Commodore PET. I can't even find a picture of them right now. But the first computer I had at home was an Zenith Easy PC, two 3.5-inch floppies. One was for the operating system, one was for saving data. And I still have the manual from the first word processor that I got for it. And I bought that computer off of a guy at my church because, and that was screen and base all one unit. If the screen went, that was it. You need a new computer. But I bought it from a guy at my church because he was getting the same model, only they had come out with a 20 megabyte hard drive. I didn't even know what a hard drive was then, and which was the operating system, and it was crazy. And I remember being super excited because I think that was my first computer. But now I'm thinking, yeah, because it was 16 shades of gray on the screen, and then because I went up to a 286 with 16 colors, and it would draw attendance graphs for my church. It would draw attendance graphs in 20 seconds instead of waiting for whatever. So, all right, Corey, you have a great good night, and great talking with you. Keep warm out there in Winnipeg. Yeah, that was before Windows 90. Okay, before Windows 95. Another computer, yeah, Commodore 64. I had a friend with a Commodore 64. So another thing that I remember is these Commodore PETs that we were on in grade 9 math class. It's 1979, 1980. We're talking now. They were all networked together. We stored our programs to tape cassettes, the same tape cassettes you play in a tape deck in a car. We stored our programs to tape cassettes, and so you would look on the counter where you had just finished storing one program, and you'd store there. And if you wanted to load one, you would go back to that counter spot. And the rich kids in class, the kids that came from that had some money or their families had some money, actually were able to afford 5.25-inch floppies when the drive came. There wasn't even that drive there at first. It was newly added to the system. So I just remember thinking like, man, that would be cool to have one of those floppy disks to store programs to. Yeah, the tape system. I had the tape backup system as well. This was not really a computer, but it was a computer game. My dad's uncle owned the television store where it sold furniture. Anyways, it was a Magnavox dealer. And so one day my dad came home with a Magnavox game system. I got to try to remember what it was. Oh, here we go. What it was, this one, right? The Magnavox Odyssey. Yeah, I will show you this right here. Yeah, I think it was Bill Gates that said something at some point that nobody would ever need X amount of memory ever in their computer. He couldn't see that day coming. I will show you here. This is the first game console I had that my dad brought back, and this is, I don't even think I was before I was in high school, the Magnavox Odyssey 2. And you would plug in, this is what it came in the box, and you would plug in your game cartridges. Let's see if they have any game cartridges showing. Here's someone that's got one here. Quest of the Rings, I actually had that game. Anyways, big old square controllers, these cartridges that you just plug in. Quest for the Rings, I had forgotten about that. So, yeah, that was, yeah, and the keyboard was not the keys. It was actually like the solid buttons that you push down on the, well, they're soft underneath, and you feel it sink into the dip in for making the choice there. So, yes, we are old. We are old. I don't know who's the oldest of us. It's quite possibly me, but I'm happy to know that we're all getting there. Switch back here. But you should smile, Hadjo, because even though we're getting old, there's a lot of people that didn't get to be as old as we are, whatever your age is. So it's good to be thankful to be alive and make the most out of it and enjoy what you have. All right, Hadjo's 39. Vinny, you just turned 40. Kevin, I think you're the last one. Oh, man. Come on, Kevin, don't let me down. Yes, wisdom can only be had with age. 57, Kevin, bless you, I'm 52. All right, Kevin wins. I thought I was going to win that one. But yes, I'll tell you though, my wife and I were watching a movie the other day on Netflix, 112 Weddings. It was really, really interesting look at marriage. And basically, it was very encouraging, very warming, but also it was basically marriage leads to roadkill as well. So this guy is a videographer who has filmed 100 and at this point before like 110 weddings, and so he's revisiting some of the people who got married and interviewing them and following up on them. And so I will say, as much as I notice the years have flown by, when tough times come, they're still tough. And, I mean, there's just absolutely horrendous things that can happen in life. I'm not talking about that. But the general flow and up and down of life tend to be able to, wisdom smooths it out. You don't get, I don't get as excited about the highs, although I do get excited about the highs. I've got this project I've been working on. It keeps me awake at night. But there's more of a resilience here, a resolve to enjoying it. But anyways, this is not the Old Fart Gives Advice YouTube channel. So, but yes, so 39, 40, 57, and 52. We're not spring chickens here in this room. Yes, you're only as old as you feel. Yeah. Maybe you feel 110. So, guys, what kind of hours do you keep being tech slash geek types? Are you able to keep regular hours? Now, some of you don't have the. I mean, some of you have to be somewhere to work at a certain time, I realize. So, me working out of home, I tend to abuse myself as far as sleep goes. So, 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. Okay, and you manage 12. Okay, Kevin, you're managing 12 servers along with your web development. And Hagel, you should go to bed, man. You're like, yeah, that's the whole thing. Just asking about the time, because now you were 1:30, so it must be 2:30 there now, I think. So Hagel, thanks for tuning in. I haven't forgotten about Twitch, by the way. I had to try to remember what my password was the other day, so we will see. Yeah. 12 servers. Kevin, what are the servers? Are you in the room with the servers? Are you managing them online? I actually just started playing around with Amazon's web service stuff. So that has been interesting to pick up on. Yeah, online. Cool. I've got a server with OVH, and then I have the server I'm playing around single hop. Let me check that out. And I have a server that on AWS that I'm playing around with. I lost a few days of my life there too, but that's all right because I really am interested in having this project on something that I can expand without having to move from one machine to another, and something that I can expand easily. And one of my clients talked about Amazon Web Services and wanting to be on there, so I'm doing this other project just to learn it. Single hop managed server solutions. Do what I do first of all. Right click and see that it's a WordPress site. Oh well. Just for fun. Manage hosting dedicated in cloud. You run a dedicated server or you running VPS? I was razzing WordPress earlier, Vinny, so. All dedicated, okay. Yeah, I've been with OVH. So like I said, I had OVH one in their farm in Montreal, and it's been pretty good. I've got that probably jammed as much as I should have on there right now. And when I got it, it does not have SSD, so that's the other downside of that as well. Because SSD is just so much faster. Starting at 139. Yeah, Kevin, if you're gonna post a link, you can. If you want to send me a link, if you don't have my address, you could send it to that. Or if it's a link that's not too complicated to copy, you could put it in the chat here. You just can't make it as a URL, or else it won't let you. Although, let's see here. Not something I can switch right now. I really like having my own server because then and the reason I went to my own server was, was actually for a project that was crashing another local hosting company before they went with different things. But
I have a newsletter that I send out that has quite a few subscribers to it, and it's so expensive to send out a large newsletter through services. So I put a lot of effort into having the site sending out my own emails, and so I can do it far cheaper, but it sure takes a lot of work to keep everything whitelisted. Yeah, that's cool. Just send that to me later on, Kevin. Yeah. The other thing that was really tricky for me too is that it's not supported. So I really jumped in the deep end, and I could get some help. I could contact them, but it wasn't like, oh, here, I'll go on and manage that for you, or I'll fix that for you, which is the whole spirit behind having your own server. You should be able to manage it yourself or pay someone else to. So, of course, once you've learned all that stuff, then you have a new skill that you can hire out for people. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Vinny. I should take off. It's funny, if I upload a recorded video to YouTube, it's usually processed very quickly. But the live streams, they usually are not processed for about half an hour or something like that. And so you will be able to watch the beginning pretty soon, but just not as soon as I hang up here. But I will sign off here because there's things I should move on and do, and see why my wife's not inside yet. See, those dogs have knocked her down. But anyways, this was a really great chat. It was great spending time with you guys, and that's just a super fun part of this channel, and of course of doing Joomla together. And so that's great. So as I always say, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.